In this video, we're going to be discussing the methods to find the greatest common divisor, also known as the greatest common factor. Let's begin by talking about the definition. The greatest common divisor between two numbers is the largest whole number that divides both numbers. The greatest common divisor, like I said, is also called the greatest common factor, or GCF. So there are a lot of methods in your textbook about how to find the greatest common factor or greatest common divisor. We're going to speak specifically about prime factorization in this video. We will be doing colored rods in class and intersection of sets in another video. So for the prime factorization method, the one that you're going to use the most, you're going to start by finding the prime factorization of both of your numbers. Then you'll determine what they have in common. There is a trap. Once you have found their greatest common factor, if the number in common is only in common one time, you only write it down once, and you'll see what I'm talking about in the next example. So let's find the greatest common factor or divisor for each of the following. So for A, we want to find the greatest common factor for 6 and 8. First thing to do is find the prime factorization. So I'm going to find the prime factorization of 6 by using stair steps and the prime factorization of 8. Notice now we're going to determine what they have in common. They have a 2 in common. And that's it, just the 2. So the greatest common factor of 6 and 8 is 2. Notice that it's written down twice, but we only write it once. So that is the trap that I told you to watch out for. The next one, 64 and 36. First, we'll find the prime factorization. This time, I'm going to find the prime factorization of 24 using factor trees, and then 36 using factor trees. So I wrote them down beside each other to make it a little bit easier. Notice they have this 2 in common, that 2 in common, and then that 3 in common. So if you multiply all those together, the 2, and the 3, you'll get 12. So the greatest common factor or divisor for 24 and 36 is 12. Letter D, 7 and 9. Now this one is a little bit tricky. Let's first find the factors of 7, just 1 and 7 because it's prime, and the factors of 9, 3 and 3. Now, notice what they have in common. They have a 1 in common. So the greatest common factor is going to be 1. But what if I had, instead of using stair steps, I'd used factor trees? Notice now I don't really have anything in common. It doesn't look like it, but notice 1 goes into both 7 and 9. So basically, if there's nothing in common, then the greatest common factor is 1. I'd like for you to do letter C and turn it in for class.